Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Gonna do a little bit of a meta discussion today. We're gonna talk about the planned battle rating changes for January 2024. Gonna give you a quick brief rundown of who I think are the winners, who I think are the losers with these changes. And I will try and back up my arguments with both, but if you haven't seen them already, here they are. They got posted today. Lots of people have already put out videos. I'm gonna put out my video and we'll see how it goes. But they come in here, they're proposing them. Obviously, give feedback if you can, if you want to. The big headliners are like the Type 81 and the AGS, if I can find it. And the AGS, they're gonna give it a new shell. So let's jump right into it, and I'm gonna tell you my biggest winners and biggest losers of these BR changes. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead, hit that like, subscribe button, do all that YouTube jazz, and we'll get into it. Here we go. BR changes for January 2024. All right, the top 5 winners of these battle rating changes are in no particular order. Here we go. So the first winner of these battle rating changes is going to be any casts in mixed ground battles realistic that are 8.3 battle rating and below. Why? Because the Strela-10M2 went up in BR to 9.7, and so it will, those folks who are playing in those battle ratings 8.3 and below will no longer see the Strela. Now that doesn't really change much for the premium bracket tier, the 9.3 premium bracket and the 10.3 to 10.0 premium bracket. That thing is insanely powerful right now. There's a number of reasons why, and frankly, I almost put this in like a mixed category, because as a winner is the cast at 8.3 and below. The mixed category is the Strela went up, but a lot of people are saying it didn't go up far enough, and that it should have gone probably a full battle rating to 10.3. I personally think it could have gone higher. I think it would not have mattered much for the play of that vehicle. It's still insanely strong, and it's probably got the best missile right now, certainly in that range, and it is just a menace to any cast in ground RB right now, which is fine. I don't mind that. You know, make casts be difficult and hard, make it more expensive, but if it's only as one nation, then it needs to be balanced, and I think that's where a lot of people struggle, is it's just for one nation. Number 2 winner is going to be the P51 airframe, and the reason why I say the airframe is because the A36 is going down to 2.7. The P51Ds/J26s are going down from 4.3 to 4.0. The D10, the D20s, all of those, it's just kind of all being pulled down from that 4.3 bracket. That's a big winner. I feel like they have been over tiered at 4.3 for a good long while. It's not necessarily that they can't be made to work. They have a particular play style. It's just that no one really plays that anymore. And if they're going to be basing it off statistics, I feel like that the 4.0 is probably going to be a better place for them. The P51C is just so much better. The P51H is just so much better. The P51Ds, for some reason, are in a weird spot where they kind of like, oh, well, you have more speed, but you don't have less maneuverability. Well, the meta just does not reward that. Most people don't play that. And so seeing them come down to 4.0 makes them a big winner. And honestly, just as a crazy, I think probably the biggest winner is that A36. The A36, in my opinion, if you run it clean without the gun pods, heck, I have a whole video on it, run it clean without the gun pods, it's a pretty serviceable P51. So I think that's just going to be a really fun vehicle to get into as early as possible, 2.7. Big winners, the A36 for sure. Next big winners for this BR change, if it goes through as proposed right now, is going to be all sort of frontline bombers and strikers. It looks like they went in and adjusted a number of these battle ratings for these type vehicles, like the DOE 217s, the IL-4, the PE-3, the A-20G, the A-36 falls into this, so kind of a double win there. The Messerschmitt 410s, the Firebrand, the B26s, the SU6s. I think this change makes sense in the meta sense, like the meta gameplay sense, because attackers and frontline bombers don't have a very good place right now in air realistic battles. They don't really serve a niche that is something that is accomplishable easily in any particular game. What I mean by that is they have lower bomb loads, so they can maybe rush a base, bomb a base, and then what? Then what? What do you do at that point? You're kind of, you can't really dogfight. If you try and ground pound AI units, you just get jumped by fighters. So seeing them drop down as a class, as seeing that class of vehicles drop down in battle rating, means they might be a little bit more dangerous to the fighters in that battle rating range. And I think if people start sort of respecting bombers and frontline bombers and the sort of striker class, then maybe we'll see some different gameplay out of them. Right now, I think they're used exclusively for base bomb grinding, silver lining grindings, and just sort of bomber pinatas. No one really takes them super seriously. There's are obviously some exceptions, but as a whole, as a class, the frontline bombers and strikers dropping, or several examples of them dropping in BR, is probably a good thing. Another top 5 winner of the battle rating changes that are proposed right now in January is going to be the battle rating 4.7 in Air RB. And the reason why is because the J2M and the J2M5 are going to 5.0. Now, obviously, I know this means they can still be encountered at that 4.7 battle rating, and obviously as low as 4.0. But the J2M2 and the J2M5, unless, in particular, the J2M2, is just a menace at the battle rating. There are balance reasons why this happens. I think Gaijin really struggles with finding their place, but the flight model itself is absolutely absurd. Go check out like the Wikipedia article about the J2M2. Like the pros are like a paragraph, and then the cons is like, well, the guy flying it might not know what they're doing. That's literally like the only con they put. I just think that the way the flight model is currently presented, the climb rate, it's just like an uber meta plane right now. It can climb, it can turn, it has energy, and it's got good armament. And sitting at 4.7, I frankly hate fighting them, and so I am celebrating that it is going up in battle rating. Could it be unfair? Perhaps. Are there counters? Perhaps. I'm just saying the general Warplayer Thunder populace fighting these things is an incredibly unenjoyable experience unless you are the pilot of the J2M2. So I'm happy to see it go up. Sorry, Japanese, pilots, my bad, but I'm going to celebrate a little bit. And then what I think is my final top 5 winners of these battle rating changes is going to be all of us. And by that, I mean the War Thunder players. I think we need to see decompression. And so going from a 12.3 to a 12.7 is going to be good for all of us. And in particular for this decompression range is going to be the 11.3 jets. I've tried to take the Tornado F3 out. It's just pain. Anything at 11.3 is just pain. So seeing the top tier jets go up to top tier is going to be something good for all of us. We want to continue to kind of see this decompression. This is good that we're finally seeing it. I was hoping it would happen, and now we need to see it on the ground forces too. But we are all winners when the decompression like this happens. Some honorable mentions is going to be the F4U, which is the more performant Corsair, but it's only got the 50 cals. It's going from 4.7 to, I believe, 4.3. That's going to be a menace. I'm going to be flying it out. And then the Mirage 2000C S4, which is the event vehicle, it is staying at 11.7, whereas the Tech Tree 2000C S, I think 3, or maybe the 5, I'm not sure, I'll check, is actually going up to 12.0. Now, is this really going to make that much of a difference? No, you're going to see top tier all the time. But I do think it's a small win for the event vehicle, since it had the fewer flares, that it has an opportunity, more of an opportunity to get a down tier in the future, right? I mean, 12.7, 11.7, that's going to be your bracket. You're going to see top tier all the time. but there is a chance you might see a 10-7, 11-7 game. Not sure. We're going to have to see how that plays out. That's why it's not a winner. It is cautiously optimistic. All right, you can't have winners without losers, and there are definitely some losers for these BR changes for January 2024. And it's kind of an interesting thing that they've done. So let's just start out calling out one of the most obvious losers in these proposed BR changes, and that's going to be a French lineup at 7.7 ground RB. The France 7-7 lineup and ground RB is insanely powerful right now. Seems like Gaijin's woken up to this and really kind of destroyed it, in my opinion. They've bumped most of the mainline vehicles up to 8.8 or 8.0. The Sumois SM, the AMX 50, the EBR, just a number of vehicles, and the Char 25. Like, they all went up, and it's going to be really sad as to see what happens to that French 7-7 lineup, because there's a case to be made that it shouldn't go to 8.0 because it's not competitive at 9.0. But if you leave it at 7.7 and it gets a down tier, it's going to bully that whole lobby. Those autoloaders and how quick they are now, this is one of those laws of unintended consequences, I think, that Gaijin put into place. I would rather them reverse some of the autoloader changes rather than bumping France 7.7 to 8.0. I think this will be a worse BR. I think messing with the BRs is worse than reverting some of the autoloader changes. It's my personal opinion. I hate to see it to the France 7.7 lineup, especially people that have invested in the premiums like I have personally. But, we'll see how it plays. I think if it gets a true 8.0-ish game, it'll probably be fine. It'll obviously be fine if it sees a 7.0 to 8.0 game, but you see 8.7, it's going to be painful for sure. All right, another loser, and this is going to be a category, top 5 losers of the changes made or the proposed changes for January, is going to be premium vehicles. And you're saying, what do you mean? Well, if you actually look at this list of what is going up in tier, a lot of them are premium vehicles that have been at a particular battle rating for a good long while. So going back to France 7.7, for example, the Sumois SM, the AMX 50, TO90/930, whatever, EBR 1963, that's a premium. AMX 13, parentheses FL11, that's a premium. The German Panzer Spickwagen P204 quick gun thing, the little low tier German premium that they only offered for a little bit, that's going up. The 234/1, I'm not even going to try the APC low tier German thing, that's going up in arcade. The J9 early that they just introduced with this event, that's going up in BR. The Mustang Mark 1A, which is really interesting because the Mustang Mark 1A for Britain is going up. However, the tech tree version of that vehicle in the American tech tree is remaining unchanged. So it's one of those things where premium players noticed that it had a good Silver Lions bonus and they used it as a grinder, a low tier seal clubber. I've done this myself. It's a really easy way to get Silver Lions. You fly out the Cannon Stang at 3.3, and I believe it's even rank 3, so you can use it for your dailies, and it's going up. So, but the tech tree for the US version is not. So that's kind of interesting. The named World War II hero guy, Golshevik's Yak 9M, that's going up. The A6M5 Co, another premium, it's going up. The J2M5, a premium going up. The J6K1 premium going up. The KI100-2 in arcade mode is going up. And the I-29, another premium, is going up. And I think my list is incomplete. I'll try and put the full list up here. But it seems like Gaijin came through and finally looked at how their premiums were behaving at the BRs that they're sitting, and I'm guessing maybe they're trying to avoid some accusations of pay to win or something like that. But a lot of premiums went up in these battle rated changes, and not a lot of tech, or not comparatively to the amount of tech tree vehicles that did not. So, all right, another top 5 loser in these battle range changes, and I'm a little on fence about this, is the F5E. Now, I put out a video flying the F5E that I called it something like no business at 10.7. So this is actually a battle rating change that I agree with. I think it was previously at 11.0. Being at 10.7, it was just too powerful. The way the matchmaker worked, it was typically almost always down tiers, and in those down tiers, it would dominate. Now, the counter argument is like, well, it's only got 2 missiles. Yeah, that's fine, but honestly, the missiles are AIM 9Ps, so I'm not going to say 2 guaranteed kills, but 2 pretty decent missiles for the battle rating, and then just a really great fight model. It allowed, you to really kind of run circles around some of these intermediary, not quite top tier jets, like, for example, Tornadoes, which they're in that same battle rating, or A-10s, Su-25s. Like, it was a super strong vehicle at 10.7. It's going back to 11.0. Now, you could argue that it's now still going to be fine, and I would say this, it's still going to be fine because 12.7 now exists, so that's going to pull some of those top tier jets away from the but 11.0 to 12.0, I think it'll be competitive, but it is definitely a loser in this battle rating change update. Another top 5 losers of these battle rating changes is going to be the Sagittario 2, which is the underpowered version of the premium Ariete. I think the Ariete has like a whole nother engine, which is essentially an afterburner. And so now the tech tree version is going to join the premium version at 9.3. I just don't see it. I don't know about this one. I think it's definitely a lose for the tech tree. And maybe not something I agree with. This means it's going to see all aspect A-10s, all aspect Su-25s. It's really going to be suffering for that. Maybe they're looking at the statistics for the Ariete in the premium version and it does well. I don't know. I think it's definitely a loser in this update. And then the final sort of loser of this BR changes for January, or the proposed ones, is going to be SPAAs again, just as a broad kind of category. There's multiple ones that are going up, and I just think that Gaijin struggles balancing SPAAs. The Falcon's going up, the Strella's going up, the AMX 10P's going up, the Leopard 4070's going up, the AMX 13 DCA 40's going up. I don't think Gaijin has a real good Flak Panzer's going up. I don't think they really have an idea of how to balance SPAAs, and I think I'm going to do a whole nother video on that as to why I think that's happening. But I'm going to keep this video just the top 5, but I look forward to that video coming out. But those are your top 5 winners, your top 5 losers, and a sort of a mix one there. If you're still around, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe button, and you'll catch any other updates I do, catch future videos. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you. Have a great 2024.